Hello, good morning.
Yeah, okay. Welcome to today's Velero community meeting, and welcome the team from Replicated. Today we will uh, have a very short status update, and then we can discuss the FS support and things. So for Velero 1.12.2, we have created RC.
Yonghui, I,
Yeah.
I think I think Tiger proposed we go through this items for replicated folks, and we can start the status update.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we can directly started the advanced support discussion. So we have created a document about the requirements around this area or gaps for Velero. So here we have three items, and so uh, first of all, the purpose of this discussion is to support the NFS from Velero. So we will have some directions. First of all, for the very straightforward and simple direction, it is like we have the current Velero and we have the current local volume provider. That is Velero plus the volume provider as a solution. So the local volume provider will be an external provider for Velero as is. For this one, the gaps is like we know that the local volume provider has already supported the RASIC path for Velero. But the things like, Velero is gradually moved the data path from the RASIC to Copia. And actually, for the new features like the CSS separate data movement, it's support the Copia path only. And also, the FS backup has been switched to the Copia path by default. So the first thing we need to do is we need to support the Copia path for the local volume provider. And for this task, I think for this task, the current gap is from Velero side. That is the current Velero's BSL doesn't support the FS or local file system configurations, or there is no configuration for the file system or a local file system or NFS. So we need to add it. And also, the current unified repository from Velero doesn't support the file system as a backup storage. Currently, it's only support the object store, like the from the public cloud or from any S3 compatible storage, but it doesn't support the file system, local file system. So to in order to eliminate this gap, we need to do some changes from Velero side. And this part, the effort is relatively small. And I think we can take this from, by Velero maintainers or Velero committers. That for this one. For this one, do we have any questions at present?
Oh, that sounds reasonable to me
Okay.
from the replicated side as well. I don't know if anybody else has any objections, questions.
So we're on the same page that this plugin has to work with Copia, and this is a gap. You're also clear on your side, right, Alex? And Sarah?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. That's fine.
I was just going to say that's one of the reasons why we're all here. Yep.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
Replicated wanted to help with that, and Red Hat's interested in helping with that. So
Yeah. Yeah. If we don't have further questions about this part, we can continue. So as I just mentioned, for this part, we still keep Velero and the external local volume provider as the plugin. And then for the long term, or if we want to do something or make something to the Velero upstream, and we have made some investigations or about all the users from different companies or from the Velero upstream users, and we have concluded this requirements. Actually, these two parts has already been done more or less by the local volume provider, but we have some different requirements. So of course, this at present we only have the rough requirement or ideas, and we need if we want to do this or we need make something into Velero upstream, either we make a brand new solution or we just reuse or move the local volume provider to Velero upstream. These are the ideas or the requirements we currently have.
Sure.
So first of all, yeah.
I just taking, I mean, we're diving into the technical details of some gaps that we all want to attack, and I think that's great. I think we should take a step back. One, I know everyone needs access to this particular document, or more people do. And then secondly, it might be worth doing a round of introductions and intentions and that sort of thing. And then yeah, get back into the live discussion of technical details or handle that in Slack or yeah. I don't
that sounds good. We can introduce ourselves real quick just to if we want to start there.
Sure, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that I clicked on the doc and I don't think I have permission, so I can share my email or whatever we need to do to get us permissions. But thanks for sharing your screen though, so at least we can see it there. I'm Alex Parker. I'm a product manager at Replicated. And I mean, Salah can introduce himself too, but he's an engineer on our team. And so we're on the team at Replicated that built the local volume provider for our product. So the person that built it actually isn't with Replicated anymore, but we've been using it and supporting it for probably a couple of years now, or almost a couple of years at this point. So yeah, that's who we are.
Okay.
And as far as and maybe I'll just mention too that, you know, as we've been talking about this, I know from the Replicated standpoint, we would be happy if local volume provider was actually contributed upstream to Velero and became a part of the project as opposed to just being a plugin. So I'm sure that, you know, there's discussion to be had about what the best option is with you all, but that's something that we would be interested in if that worked for everybody and helps to solve the problem appropriately.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's great. So for this document, you know, I don't know all your emails, so I think you can click this link and then I will grant you access. Does that work for you?
Oh yes, definitely. I can. That's a good idea.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. I think if so, we are on the same page, and we all want to make something into Velero upstream. You know, to make a final solution in the upstream. So I think I can.
So before we move ahead, I'm a little curious. Like this is Daniel. I work for VMware and maintaining Velero. So has this local volume provider been used to provide service for your customers, or it is just an experimental product that you use internally?
No, we do provide it as a service for our customers. It is part of our product. It's not like the full product or a main part of the product, but it is part of our product and the
so
service
you will
that we
be
provide.
yeah. So this is maybe a question for future, but if we integrate it with Velero and fill in all the feature gaps, will you be able to maintain this plugin in future, or you just wanna hand it over, and have you discussed that?
Alice, you can disagree with me, but if or say if you disagree with me, but we would love to be maintainers of the plugin once it becomes part of the Velero project. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, I think that's right. And a little bit, if it's helpful, a little more background just on what Replicated does. We're basically a company that helps other software companies deliver their software on premises to customer managed environments. So backup and restore is a part of our product. So, the main part of our product is about helping software vendors do release management and control their software and then ultimately deploy it into their customers' environments. And then as a part of that, we offer sort of a backup and restore add-on that lets people deploy Velero and use that to back up to different storage destinations. And so we support NFS and things like that. So we created the local volume provider for that. So it's a part of our product. It's not the whole product, but it is part of it, just in case that helps you understand better how we use it and why we created it.
Yep, that's helpful. Thanks, guys.
And then I have a quick question just on logistics, I guess. I would assume Sala would want to be, you would want Sala to be one of your maintainers. Is it just Sala, or is there more than one engineer?
We have two engineers. Oh, sorry, Sala.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think I was going to say the same thing. It's probably going to be me and another engineer.
Okay. And then
we have two on our team who both pretty equally contribute, so both would be great.
Okay, that'd be great. So on that particular repo, I would imagine Sala, that other engineer, and then some blend of Velero maintainers. I don't know, we can handle that at another time, but does that sound approximately appropriate to everyone else on the call?
Are you referring to the local volume provider repo, or?
Yeah, that would be forked to VM Tanzu or wherever it ends up going, or if it, I mean, the logistics of where it sits in GitHub, I guess, isn't terribly important, but it would be we would need maintainers from Replicated, and I would assume we'd want some one or two maintainers from the community project as well, Velero.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've established that the repo would still exist in the future, or it's gonna be all of the code there would be moved to be inside of the Velero project. And if that happens, it would be the other way around. Like me and the other engineers would be added as maintainers in the Velero project. I mean, that's my understanding.
Yeah, I think that could get. We probably want to like list these things out in an agenda so we can speak to some of these things at a future time, because I think it's important to nail that down before we get too far. Probably.
Yeah,
it's good to know. But Wes, I just wanna get you guys reminded that we are going through an acquisition and the approval process.
It's almost done, right?
It is. So, but there's a lot of like the logistic problems you just mentioned. Whether we can adopt open source or in VMware Tanzu, I think there may be a different approval process. I'm pretty sure previously it can be done very easily, but we don't know whether that's will there be any change in terms of process after the deal close.
Okay, I mean that's a fair point. So
yeah, I think that
go ahead.
Yeah, that may be something we have to change for the process. I mean, move the current repo to the VMware Tanzu organization. But I think maybe there are another way we can discuss. For example, we can write down some information in Velero project and point to the existing local volume provider project. I mean, replicate project. So let the community know, there is a plugin that can support the NFS data replicating, right?
And correct me if I'm wrong. It's currently it's a plugin. It's currently in its own repo. Perhaps I think there's another location other than VMware Tanzu, but forking that to a repo with the appropriate maintainers, whatever we determine that to be, that might be a neutral step. I'm looking for a neutral step considering the acquisition and that kind of change. At any rate, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's a fairly isolated piece of code right now. And given that open source policies may change with VMware and Broadcom, keeping it probably as in the plugin structure versus dropping it into Velero proper might actually be a nice bridge step if it is something that you wanted to build directly into the Velero repo.
I think we can continue discuss on this topic when the acquisition completed and the policy get clear from our side.
All right. Well, good luck. It looks like you're almost done.
It is. So in terms of working with Project Velero, I have some comment. Do we expect we fork this into Project Velero and then all the development go to that org? I would suggest we stay as is in the short term, like in maybe next 1 or 2 months. If we got okay from more senior leaders, we can fork it into Project Velero. Otherwise, I don't know the org Project Velero will exist or not in future after the acquisition. So if we do that right now, that will be a risk.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you have.
So I'm not sure if the replicated guys are okay that this repo remains in replicated HQ org, but somehow you can, open for other community user of Velero for issues, and you can fix the issues if you need help. The Velero maintainer can also keep an eye on that repo and make some code change if needed. I think that may be a short-term solution, at least for next 2 months, 3 months. We remain this way. Does this sound okay for you guys?
I just want to check to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. So we're saying that would potentially just be a short-term solution, because it sounds like you're saying because VMware is being acquired, there's sort of different changes and processes that might happen in the short term. So instead of moving this into Velero now, or moving it into the Velero project organization in GitHub or something like that, you're proposing that we keep it where it is and make people from Velero maintainers in our repo as a first step. But the goal would then later on be to move this into the Velero organization, or move it into the Velero code even potentially, once the acquisition's finished and there's a more clear path on how to get the right approvals for that. Is that correct?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't see any. Are you saying something, Salah?
No, I think I was going to say this very similar to what you're going to say. I think it's okay, but we do have to double check with our with our team, make sure opening access to the community is fine for that repo. But I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, one thing I want to add is for the long term, when we want to move the solution to Velero upstream, I think maybe we don't need to keep the current the code into a separate plugin, but we move everything into Velero's code, because as you know, like this one, the download request server, we may use this server in other scenarios, not only for NFS support.
But that's but that depends on the design, right? We may choose a different way. We may not need a server. So if we need a server, if we need a server, that code change can happen right away in Velero's repo to support that, if that design is approved, right?
Yeah, I think so. We can direct them add the code into Velero.
Right.
Exactly.
So that is for long term. Okay, so let's go through some details for this 2 part. The first one, we all know we want to download request server, and we have there are some so that we can download anything that is as from the backup storage to the Velero client, and so we want the there is a concrete design for the server, and especially we need to consider the authentication things, and also consider the objects isolation. Like with a single URL, we can the client can only download one particular file like that, right? That is for the and the other thing, like as I just mentioned, we have some other usage for it in the long term, like we have wait a minute, yeah, this one, sorry, let me open. So it's like even for the object store, we have some requirements to use this download server, because especially in the on-premise environment, sometimes the object storage, the storage network is not connectable from the client. So the client cannot directly to access the object store to get the data. So we still use this download request server. So we hope that this besides the common request, we hope that the download request server is should be flexible enough so that it can integrate with something like a storage layer. Actually, we expect the download request doesn't know about the storage. We just they just interact through interfaces. Like I want to get object or get object, and for the storage layer, the object could be a local file system or object from object store or from anything else. That is.
But that's an advanced requirement. I think we can resolve the issue first, that we need a good story for a download request CR in Velero, because currently when we test the local volume provider, quite usually that download request URL is not accessible because you are exposing the pod IP. One other concern is security. We don't want this URI be sent to the user, and the user can somehow make some change to the URL and access other files in the NFS share. I think those are the two major gap we observed. Whether we need a download request to proxy content for different backend, I think that's an advanced topic. We can try to tackle that after we fulfill the first two requirements.
Yeah, at present we don't need to implement any code for it, but we hope that we can consider it from the design, so that we can support it later as an advanced requirement. That for this one, and the second one that is to support NFS share as a backup storage. For this one, we probably can call it for we need a new design or new module for backup storage exposer. Actually, if you check the Velero current architectural flow, we have quite some exposers. For example, the CSS snapshot exposer and the data move restore exposer. That means we need a module to have the Velero code in the pod to access some of the volumes either from us created by a snapshot or dynamically provisioned in the cluster. So for this design, the requirement, one of the critical requirements that we don't want to restart the node agent or Velero soul pod, because in the practical in practice, users may run quite lots of backups, especially for the node agent. a lot of heavy work like data movement are hosted by the node agent. If the node agent pod restart, all the backups will be canceled or error out. That is not what we expect. So for this backup storage exposure, one of the existing solution in Velero is like we don't. I know that currently for the local volume provider, we have attached a pod. No, sorry, a volume of PVC to the node agent or storage pod. That volume represents FS share. But as the alternation, we can create a dedicated pod and to mount that volume. That dedicated pod is only used for expose expose or mount the FS share to the pod, and the Velero node agent will use the host path to access that pod. That is one of the existing idea or solution we have in Velero, but whether or not there is any better solution, we can continue to discuss and think about. That is yeah.
I want to add a comment that I'm not going to go into detail about the design itself, but I do want to mention that at Replicated, we not only support NFS, but we also support using a host path volume type in addition to the NFS volume type and a PVC volume type. They're very similar in syntax. It's just like the type of in the implementation that we have right now in the local volume provider. It's mostly the same thing syntax. You mount the volume, and it's just like you configure the type of volume. Like it can be NFS, PVC, or host path, and everything else, because they all sort of behave like are backed by a file system. The other implementation details would be the same, which is why it works for us right now. But I don't want the design. I guess I replicated only supporting NFS would not be sufficient for our product. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, there's no problem to support other like volume, local volume. The thing is, the only thing is, we don't attach either volume types like NFS or local volumes to the node agent or Velero server. We create a separate pod and we attach that volumes to the pod. So one volume, one pod. Sorry, I have gone to much details, but something like that. That pod will do nothing, just use to expose the volume to the node agent. Node agent will use a host path, for example, the pod ID and volume ID, and then to access.
But I think. Yeah, I think it would be easier if you describe it from the use case perspective. So do we have a use case that user want to mount a new NFS when Velero is running, or you always expect?
Whenever we add a new user add a new BSL, user will need to mount a new NFS to enable the pod. That only happens.
I think I see what you're saying. You're saying like if you want to add a backup storage location at a later point, you don't want the node agent or the Velero pod to restart because that'll cancel current backups.
Right.
I also understand the design, the idea or the proposal that you're just talking about. Would that pod that you're talking about be ephemeral, and the volumes would be mounted onto it, and then like the node agent and the Velero pods would communicate with it to write data and read data, and then it would be spun down?
Yes, similar. But actually, current Velero just to access the path from the host.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to reach agreement in today's discussion. That's the first one. I think we just identify the feature gap and reach consensus. These are something we find, and we may work together to find a solution. I think that's good enough for this discussion.
Yeah.
Actually, that works for us.
Yeah. Actually, we don't even need to follow the existing solution Velero. Maybe we have better idea. I will add some details later into this doc for what is Velero currently doing, and then we can consider. Okay. After either way, the requirement is simple. When add a new BSL, we don't want to restart the Velero pod. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Sorry, I just want to reiterate the requirement from Replicated to support the 3 types of volumes. I don't know if we should write that down or somewhere, or is that going to be already part of the implementation or not? Like NFS, PVC, and the host path volume type.
Yeah.
Even if the implementation is the same, even if the implementation in Velero is the same, but we could, from our end, configure it in a way to use it for NFS, host path, and PVC. That's also fine, as long as there's like a path forward.
If it's worth saying a few times, it's worth writing down. I don't think right in that section that we're talking about is probably the right place, but yeah, we should write that down.
Yeah, I will write the details and we can discuss later offline.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the second requirement, it's quite simple. For every configuration for the FS or local file system, we want to all the configuration in the BSL. And especially, for example, when the FS has some authentication or permission configurations, we need to have them in the BSL also and propagate to the Velero pod so that Velero pod can access the FS all the time. And we also there may be also some isolations like for this BSL, it matches to one FS share and the Velero pod only access to that FS share and it doesn't access the FS share represented by other BSL, something like that. Of course, we can continue the details discussion later offline. Yeah, I think that's all the requirements we have collected, and for most of them we will need a design, and I will suggest that for this separate parts we have separate design, and then finally we have all the things implemented.
Yeah, so because Sarah and Alex, you mentioned that you also provide Velero to the enterprise users. I think for the first 2 requirement in download request and NFS share, you also hear some requirement from your customer, right? Or is that the first time those go into your radar?
If I understood your question correctly, I think this is all sort of implementation details behind the scenes that our customers are not directly involved in. So we would have to think of a way. Yeah, so we would have to think of a way to support, both to support the download request CR and support older Velero versions that don't know about the download request CR. So it's a behind the scenes implementation basically that our customers are not directly involved in. So they shouldn't. I don't imagine they would be informed about this change.
So in your customers usually they will not use Velero CLI to interact with Velero.
No, not typically in our product. No, they use our product directly, and our product utilizes Velero behind the scenes.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and so
I think as a follow-up, is that okay? Like we create the issue in your repo to continue discussion for the specific topics?
Yeah, that's totally fine. And the repo is open source, so you should have read access and be able to create issues, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I can help to create the issue and list more details.
Yeah. So I think to follow up, the issues are in 2 categories. First is, as we discussed, the logistic And the second is some technical feature gaps. Before we can, we think this plugin can be fulfill the requirement for Velero users. I think we're gonna work from these two areas and to make progress. Les, do you have a timeline on your side or to provide the NFS or local file system support?
No, okay. Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good starting point. We can follow up and create issues and try to figure out the technical issues. And at the same time, we're gonna discuss with our PM and the leaders about the logistic and process, like how we can ship this plugin to the customers and how we manage the source code in future.
Sounds good. Let me take something back to this point. Actually, this one it's something it's better that we can implement this because it is easy to implement and we can assign someone to implement this, because even for the long-term requirements we still need this one, and for the short-term, once we support this one, it could work with the existing local volume provider.
Yeah. I mean, for the last one, the issue is already in Valero's repo, but for the first, I mean, several items, I think, yeah, we better have the issue in the local volume provider repo and continue discussion separately.
Yeah, I think for this one, we should have, wait a minute.
And that's updating for Copia, if I'm understanding that one right.
Yeah, not for Copia code, just Velero code, Velero unified repository code.
Yep.
Yeah. For this one. But it will not be in 113, right? Do we agree that we will maybe have this in?
It's too late for 113.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Then we still have time to discuss it later. And personally, I think it's quite simple. And we can, in 114, we can have someone to implement this one first.
Which that context might be important for Alex and Sala. So 113, I think, is going feature complete here this week, and the expected GA is early January. So new designs, new work for 114, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is going to be probably the end of January, early February of 2024. Yeah. So that's kind of the timelines on this getting, maybe bootstrapped is the wrong word, but something like that.
I mean, yeah, that's helpful. Sort of on a tangent, but is support for Restic dropped in 113, or is support is Restic still supported?
It will not drop, but we are considering deprecated Restic. So we're gonna announce the deprecation, and it remain for a few minor releases. But finally, we want to remove it when everyone is comfortable.
It would be ideal if the timeline for adding support for file system or adopting the local volume provider in Velero aligns with deprecating and dropping Restic, so that we have a
100%.
A way forward to adopt Copia.
Yeah, no cost.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions to the replicated team? Because I know the time is late for you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Not for me, not off the top of my head. I think I've already mentioned the requirements from our end, so I think that's sufficient for now. But if I do have any other questions, I'll reach out in Slack.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, just find us on the Velero Dev channel. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks for joining. And
thank you.
Thanks for joining, guys. Take care.
Nice to meet you all. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yep.
You have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Coming.
Okay. And the last thing is some simple status update. And for Web 1.12.2, we have created the RC build, and so the GA build will be created very soon. And for 1.13, there is a reminder that we will reach the FC on December 1st. So just a check the status of our issues and make sure they are on track. And for the personal update, myself is working on a task to add the description for the CSI data moment. And for Web 1.12, we don't have the description for CSI sample data moment. And beside that, there is also this description will be based on the backup volume info Jun is working on. So so there is some other some changes to the existing backup types like the CSS sample backup. And I have created a PR, and for this PR, I haven't started the test because I need to wait this backup volume info implementation get merged. But I think that you can start to review on that because there are quite some changes on the existing backup types like the native snapshot and the CSS snapshot. That from my side. And Danfeng, please.
Yes. Currently, I'm working on performance and CI tests, and now we had a successful job running, and it took about 16 hours. And second one is add an end-to-end test case, which covers scenario of deleting a return PV after backup. That's all from my side.
Okay, thanks. And Xun?
I'm working on the backup volume info generation, and this is the PR. Please help to review it. And sorry for it's a little late for implement.
Okay, thanks. And Jimmy?
First, I am subbing one PR that is about enhancement and recoverability of data mover. And second, I'm started working on supporting spots for restore. That's all from me.
Okay, thanks. And Shichi?
I added hook execution status to backup and restore disclaimer, and that's all from me.
But Qi, I have a question. Have you had a chance to discuss with Anshu about the solution? I mean, previously you want to parse the logs, but in our discussion, we think there can be a better way.
Yeah, but yeah, we discussed it on the issue, and Anshu likes the other Microsoft guy to review it.
So the question is, are we going to add the hook failed status in the CR, or are we continuing the way that is in the PR that you parse the log entry and display it in the output?
Well, I guess it's still in the discussion, and still wait for your response.
Yeah, but I think we need to make a quick decision because next week we're gonna FC.
Yeah.
We will have time to make the change.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And Tiger, please.
Yes. So I finished my design. I think so. For the schedule unpause issue, where user want an ability when they unpause to, if the backup is due from the last backup timestamp, to skip that immediately due backup, so that it only run after the next schedule, next cron schedule. So would be great to get some eyes. Yeah, get some reviews. Thank you.
Okay, sure. We will.
So after we merged the 6517, this is a additional change to it, or?
Which one? Sorry.
Sorry, because last time when we were in the community meeting, you mentioned there's a issue depending on the design, and that should be reviewed. I think that's already merged, so this is a new one, right?
No, the issue for this one's still open. I can double check.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So this is. Oh, sorry, I'm mistaken. The last time you mentioned the PR, I thought that was the design. So
yeah.
So the issue. This is for
6517 issue.
Give me 1 second. I see. So if you have that merge, do you think you will have time to implement it before the end of November? Is that?
Sure. I think I can do that. Get something up. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So we will keep that one in the milestone 1.13, because otherwise we're gonna either move it out or delay the FC. I think it's okay we delay 2-3 more days even after the end of November. I think that's fine, but we don't want to delay too much. So if there's an issue you think you cannot finish, like the one Shubang is working on, we only focus on the design. I think it's fine to me, but let's make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So currently we're gonna keep it in 1.13 just for
yeah, I think that would be fine.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Yes, that's for the status update. Any else? Any other things we want to discuss today? If no, I think we can finish the meeting here today. Thanks for joining. Have a good day and good evening.
Thank you. Have a good holiday, guys. Bye.
Thank you all much.
Thank you,
Take
folks.
care.